Welcome back, everyone, to Nation of Glory. The place where stories of greatness, resilience, and destiny unfold. If you're new here, make sure you stay till the end, because today, we're diving deep into the life of a man who wasn't just born to be a superstar, he was forged into one. A man whose bloodline carried the spirit of wrestling greatness, but whose own journey was filled with shadows, pain, and redemption. This is the story of Randall Keith Orton, the Viper. One of the most dangerous, unpredictable, yet beloved superstars in WWE history. Randy Orton wasn't just made for the ring. He was born into it. But even with a legacy already written in his DNA, the path he walked was never easy. Because greatness doesn't come from blood alone, it comes from battle. Let's go back to the beginning. Randy Orton was born on April 1, 1980, in Knoxville, Tennessee. The world might have seen just another child, but inside that young boy was the heartbeat of a dynasty. His father, Cowboy Bob Orton, was a wrestling legend, known for his charisma, his toughness, and that iconic cast on his arm that became part of wrestling folklore. His grandfather, Bob Orton Sr., had paved the way before him. In the Orton family, wrestling wasn't just a job. It was a calling. But growing up as the son of a wrestling star wasn't all glamour. Randy often saw his father on TV, but rarely at home. He grew up missing moments, birthdays, holidays, because his father was living the life of the road. The ring took as much as it gave. And even as a child, Randy learned something important. Fame doesn't come without sacrifice. As he grew older, Randy became a restless teenager, rebellious, daring, and unpredictable. He had the charisma, the confidence, but also the fire that sometimes burned out of control. He joined the Marines after high school, seeking discipline, direction, but his impulsive side clashed with authority. He was court-martialed and discharged, a moment that could have broken his spirit completely. He found himself lost, unsure of where to go next. But sometimes, destiny doesn't whisper. It calls you back. And for Randy, that call was wrestling. He stepped into the world of professional wrestling around 2000, signing with the then World Wrestling Federation. From day one, everyone could see something special, that mix of natural talent, arrogance, and sheer athleticism. But early on, Randy was also struggling behind the scenes. He was young, hungry, and reckless. The fame came fast, maybe too fast. He debuted in WWE's main roster in 2002, part of a new generation, the same class that introduced legends like John Cena, Brock Lesnar, and Batista. But even among giants, Randy stood out. Not because he shouted the loudest, but because he moved like a predator. Calm, cold, calculated. He wasn't the biggest, but he was the most dangerous. And soon, evolution came calling. Triple H, Ric Flair, Batista, and Randy Orton. 4 men, 1 mission. Domination. Evolution was power, class, and arrogance rolled into one unstoppable unit. And for Randy, it was the stage he needed. He became the Legend Killer, a young prodigy whose mission was to destroy the icons of wrestling's past. Mick Foley, Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, one by one, Randy took them down, proving that he wasn't just the son of Cowboy Bob Orton. He was the future. At just 24 years old, Randy Orton became the youngest world heavyweight champion in WWE history. The world watched in awe as the kid with the smirk and the venomous stare stood tall with gold on his shoulder. It was the birth of the Legend Killer era. But like every rise, there's always a fall. The more successful Randy became, the more the darkness within him grew. His ego, his temper, his struggles, all started catching up. He clashed with authority backstage. He made mistakes. And for a time, it seemed like the world that made him was ready to turn its back. But Randy Orton wasn't done. Because true legends don't fall, they evolve. He found a new identity, the Viper. Cold, calculated, silent. He no longer needed to prove himself to anyone. His movements became more precise, his character more dangerous. He wasn't the loudest in the room, he was the calm before the strike. And that's what made him terrifying. From feuds with Triple H and John Cena to moments that defined eras, like his rivalry with The Undertaker, Edge, and Bray Wyatt, Randy became a symbol of endurance. No matter how many times he was beaten down, he came back stronger, smarter, more dangerous. Every feud told a story of pain, pride, and the hunger for legacy. And then came the move that defined him, the RKO. Quick, deadly, out of nowhere. 3 words that became pop culture. RKO wasn't just a move. It was a moment. It became the most unpredictable strike in wrestling history. The instant a match could end, a crowd could explode, and history could be made. Every fan knows that feeling. when Randy crouches in the corner, pounding the mat, his eyes locked in. You know what's coming. And yet, every time, it feels electric. But behind the venom and the glory, Randy Orton had real battles, the kind we don't always see on camera. He battled injuries, shoulder surgeries, back pain, but even more than that, he fought personal demons. There were moments when he doubted himself. Times when he questioned if he could keep going. But something always pulled him back. His family, his fans, his love for the business. And through it all, Randy transformed, from a reckless young man into a wise veteran. He became a locker room leader, a mentor, a figure of respect even from his biggest rivals. That's the beauty of Randy Orton's story. It's not just about championships. It's about transformation. There's a reason fans still chant his name after 2 decades. Because they've seen him grow, fall, rise again, and through it all, never stop evolving. He's been the villain, the hero, the monster, and the mentor. And yet, every time he walks down that ramp, the world watches, because you never know what version of Randy Orton you're going to get. When he joined forces with Riddle to form RK Bro, fans saw a new side of him. The playful, almost fatherly side, one that made people smile again. It was proof that even after years of darkness, Randy could still bring light to the screen. He reminded everyone that legends aren't defined by what they destroy, but by what they inspire. And when you look at Randy's story, from the kid who once got lost in rebellion, to the man who now stands as one of the greatest of all time, you see a lesson. No matter how far you fall, you can rise again. No matter how many times you fail, you can rewrite your story. And no matter what the world says about your past, your future is still yours to build. Randy Orton is more than just a name. He's a symbol of resilience, evolution, and unshakable willpower. He's the calm storm, the silent killer, the man who redefined what it means to last in a business built on chaos. 2 decades in WWE, and he's still going strong. Still making moments. Still crafting his legend. And when the day comes that he finally hangs up his boots, one thing will be certain. The name Randy Orton will live forever. Because legends don't fade. They evolve. And so, as we close today's story, take a moment to remember what it takes to become great. It's not luck. It's not legacy. It's the fire inside you, the one that refuses to die, no matter how many times life knocks you down. That's the story of Randy Orton, the legend killer who became the legend himself. A story of venom, victory, and evolution. And that, my friends, is why the Viper will forever strike in the hearts of wrestling fans around the world. Thank you for joining us today on Nation of Glory. If you felt inspired by this story, hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more incredible journeys from the world of wrestling, sports, and Hollywood greatness. Your support keeps us telling these stories, stories that remind us all that glory is never given, it's earned. Until next time, this is Nation of Glory, signing off. Stay strong, stay true, and remember, legends never die.